Hello, everybody, and welcome to webinars Eventtia. We'll start by introducing our agenda and, of course, by introducing myself. So that's why you're watching here now my share screen of the presentation. So, first of all, I give you the warm welcome to How to Create an Event in 30 Minutes, the webinar for today, 16 August. Um, And we'll start by doing some polls and we'll start by just having some interaction before getting into the business. But first of all, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Santiago Castillo, and I am the Customer Success Manager at Eventtia. You might have spoken with me at some time due, because I normally have spoken already with the clients, or if not, if you're a lead and you'll become a client, then I hope that we can speak very, very soon. So I'm going to explain you a bit about what we're going to do today, and then we'll get into that. Just one second. All right. So first of all, I already introduced myself, and I'm going to show you the webinar structure. We're going to learn how to configure multiple attendee types, create effective registration forms, and generate attendee badges. Later on, we're going to learn how to set up an event schedule with speakers and activities, and how to design an attractive event website. Also, we're going to learn how the online registration works from the attendee side or the attendees view. And finally, we're going to have some time for questions and answers where you will be able to ask whatever you want and need. And we're going to have some conclusions. So let's start with some polls and see what do we have here for today, which type of audience we have. So I want to know, first of all, how did you hear about Eventtia webinars? Was it by email, work colleagues, through the Eventtia team, through the Eventtia webpage, or through social media? I want to know your answers. Okay, thank you very much. Second of all, what type of events do you make? Do you make corporate events? Do you make networking events, academic events, commercial events, or just other type of events? We normally divide them into four, but we have all type of events. We have schools that are here. We have development agencies, and we have several different type of events that we make with Eventsia. Right, so most of people here are doing networking events. Actually, we're going to launch very soon. In September, we'll have our first B2B webinar. I will be able to show you a bit about it in the end if we have some time. Have you used another EMS or event management software before? That's the next question. If you have used it, you can say yes. If you haven't, then it's a no. We would like to know if you have already some sort of education in event management software, and whether you prefer Eventia or you prefer some others, and what do you prefer from each one. Most of you do have used DMS. That's very good. So we already have made the three polls, and now we'll continue with the business. So let's start with why and how to configure multiple attendee types, and how to create an effective registration form and generate attendee badges. And of course, in order to do all of this, we'll just start from scratch, from zero, in order to show you all the process. So I'm going to get here to Eventtia Home. Let me show you. Yeah, now I'm sharing my screen. You're seeing here your event starts here on Eventtia Home. Actually, we've got quite a lot of new different um, spaces in our website. This is a quite brand new website. We just launched it this month, and we're going to very, very soon have a tab that is for webinars, where you will be able to watch what's going on and what's next. So if you haven't signed up, you should click here on the top right corner and just say click on sign up and fill up your information in order to create an account. You have a 15-day free trial if you're not a client yet. And then once you have your account, you just click here and log in, and you will be able to enter to your account. In this case, I'm going to enter to my account, webinars at eventia.com. and we'll get into the actual um, place, like the dashboard of the events, not of one event but of all the events. So the start page where you will be able to find all of the events that you have done, and it will be categorized by past events, ongoing events, and events to be made. So we're just going to start from scratch from a very new event. However, you can clone events from before. So if you had an event last year, or if you had an event that's similar to this one, maybe not the same but quite similar, and you want to preserve some of the information and the setup, you can do it. Okay, so here you can click on new. On the top right corner, maybe you have my screen there. You can move it if you don't see it. If not, just click here on new. And when you click here on new, you will be able to fill up your information. So we're going to say that this is our academic event. I like to do this case because academic events are really quick to set up on Eventtia. So, but well, as a matter of fact, most of the events are really quick to set up in Eventtia. So we're going to say that it's next August 23rd from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. the event. We're gonna say that this event is going to be made in the States. So I'm gonna search here for the United States right here. And I'm gonna say it's going to be New York, the state of New York, of course. And then I'm gonna search here for New York City. This you can just search for whatever you're making your event at, and that's it. I'm going to say that this is at the Rockefeller Center. We're kind of fancy at Eventia. And here I'm gonna put a logo. I'm gonna take it from my desktop, wherever I have my logos and stuff. So here I can put my logo, and I can also put my banner if I want. I'm gonna say that the language is in English, and I can put the website. So here I can just say like academic event. Just going to put four here. Oh well, as a matter of fact, I'm going to put here four because I already have some event called academic events, so it's not going to let me save if I like leave it with the same name. Um, and here I will be able to put a description. So the academic event is here to prepare the students from the U.S. to be better at studying, whatever, or to be better at their professional lives. Well, in their professional lives. Okay, I can put some keywords like New York academic event that people can use when searching through Google or any web browser. I leave it active. I put my name of the sender and email as well. Okay, let's leave academic event 5 then. Can search here for Rockefeller as well. Rockefeller Center. Okay, okay, I can click here and save, and that will create an event. Voila. So here I have a brand new event, and I'm going to click here on edit in the pencil, and I will be able to check here the general settings, which I can change at any time, the general information better, and then I can check the settings. So in this case, we're in the US, so we're probably having imperial system, 12 hours, month, date, year, because that's more used in the States. The currency, which is dollars, the VAT, if there is one. And here I will be able to check which payment platform I will be using. We have Stripe, PayU, Cash Flows, and PayPal. Normally, our clients use Stripe or PayPal, but the other two payment platforms also work quite well, and you just have to put the information of your payment platform here in order to activate it, so that people can, for instance, pay via PayPal, and you will receive that in your PayPal account, and everything is going to be done through PayPal with no incidence of Eventtia in this. So Eventtia takes no percentage or anything. It's just directly the client and PayPal. We just provide the integration. Okay. And here in dashboard, you will be able to check all the different stuff that's going on with the event. So you can see if you have had networking, you can check your scheduled meetings, your website visits, your ticket sales, stand sales, registered attendees, etc. And then now let's get into the actual business. So the first thing you do is you create the types of attendees. It really depends on your event, and basically you change of types of attendees, whether they have different prices or you need different information from each attendee. Otherwise, we do recommend to have as few attendees as possible, because that makes it simpler for your attendees to register. So in this case, I'm just gonna say I have people coming from undergrad and postgrad degrees. So here I'm just gonna say I have one that's undergraduate students. The price limit is zero. Attendee limit, let's say it's 400, because we have an auditorium for 600. So it's 400 undergrad, 600, 200 postgrad, which makes 600. Um, I can determine if I only want to allow guest registration. This is really useful for VIPs or press or something like that, where you really have a guest list. Allow public registration, which is the most common. I can allow participants to edit their registration. I can require validation, which means that before they get into the event as an attendee, they would have to be accepted or rejected by me, by the admin. So that could be useful in events where you don't really know where people are coming from, or where anybody could come and you want to make a filter. And you can also block change that induce reimbursements. And then here I can get into the registration form, where I can actually have these by default spaces, which is what normally people are asked for. But for instance, I don't want to have an invoicing information. So I'll come here and click on edit, and I'm going to take this off. So I'm just not displaying it, and that's it. It's going to appear here, but it's not going to appear in the actual registration form. I want to also take off company, because I'm doing university events. So well, actually it's not a company, but I don't want to put something like university. So how do I add a new space? I just click here on new, and I can select whether I want the text field, drop down list, multiple selection, image, plain text, dates, time, city, and file. So you have lots of options. I'm just having here a drop down list because I know which universities are coming. Let's say we're working like with Ivy League universities. So I'm going to say Harvard, MIT, Stanford. I'm going to say Berkeley, and I'm going to say um, New York University. Okay. I can require it when registering, which means that it's mandatory to fill this space or just leave it as it is. And I can decide whether I display it or I don't. So in this case, I'm actually displaying it, of course. I would kind of like think of not displaying it if it's something that only I knew, or that I really want to, I have control over that, so I can actually put that. But otherwise, mostly it's displayed, because that's it. You have the registration form to be able to see what you're asking for to the attendees, and then I can make it mandatory or not. So I'll make it mandatory, and I'm gonna click on save, and it's going to appear here down. See, it's it's like this, that it will appear, and I can put this up. So I can even put it like before the other stuff. So I can say, okay, first of all, I want to know the university, and then your name, last name, email, etc., etc. Well, name, last name, and email are totally mandatory, because well, that's the way you're going to identify your attendees. But the other stuff you can actually hide it, or ask for some other spaces. Okay. All right. So this will be the way you put it. I will just do something, some another space, just so you see something different. So let's say I want to ask for their a text field, or yeah, and I want to ask for their ID, because I'm interested in that. And normally IDs, let's say they have 10 characters. So that's how I can kind of say that it's only 10 characters. And the field can only repeat 0 times, cannot repeat, because all the IDs are unique, so it cannot repeat. And I can also allow only numbers. See, so here I just set up something that's really specific, and that's quite good for instance, asking for IDs, because IDs are specific, they're only numbers, and they have maximum 10 characters. I can require it when registering, and I can click here and save. So when I save, I can put this up, let's say after last name, and that's it, okay? All right, so this is how we create a registration form. I just wanted to tell you something before continuing. You have a Q&A part here down on the actual on the screen. You will find down something that's called Q&A. You can make your questions there, but you can also make it more interactive if you want. You can also talk through chat. So I'm saying here hi, so you can check the chat and you can also make questions there. So today I will be accepting questions at whichever moment. Um, if you want to make them right away, if not, you can do them at the Q&A session, okay? Which is the last 15 minutes. Okay, let's continue. So we already created a registration form and now we're gonna create a badge. We have two different type of badges. The first one is the thermal one, and I'm gonna show you that in this moment. So the thermal printers are printers that use stickers. They're printers this big, and they use stickers. They print stickers with the information of the person. So for instance, this one has full name and then attendee type, and these are stickers that you can take off and place them in a pre-made badge, like this one. This is a carton pre-made badge, and it has a sticker here. See, this is a sticker, and this one has name, QR codes, ID, and type of attendee. It even has a send. So you can use the tags for that, and the tags can be used in emails as well, and so on. And then with regards to the desk jet ones are divided in four parts. They're just like normal sheets of paper divided into four. So in the first kind of part of the first fourth of the sheet of paper, you can put, let's say, the name, the company, and the QR code. But then on the other parts, you can put different information that's common to everybody. That could be like a map, some rules, some access of the applications, etc., etc. And then what you can do is fold them into four and also put them like in a batch holder, plastic batch holder, where you can actually kind of check the logo and have like a normal batch with the main info. But if they open it up, they'll have more info. So that's quite useful. So those are the two options for badges. The thermal is this one and the ZestJet is this one. And they both work with the tags. So for instance, I created the field university. I can copy this and I can paste it here. And I can actually say, you know, university is quite important for me. So I'm going to put that bigger, or I'm going to put that first, or whatever. So you can put all these tags that you see down here. All right. Like ID, batch link, etc. And you can also print them in capital letters. And once you have that set up, you can click on save and you'll have it. And then you can print them from the attendees tab. I'll show you later how. Okay, I'm going to give you an extra here. We also have, oops. Okay, I'm coming back here. Sorry for that. I was actually opening something up. Good. So we also have the messages, where you have the success registration message and the welcome email. So the success registration message is just a message that appears when I register. And it's not an email, it's just a message that appears like a kind of like a cookie that will appear there. Well, it's not a cookie, but it's just another tab that will appear saying that your registration has been successful. And here you can use as well the different tags. So I can say, hi, first name, thank you for registering. This is just to tell the person that he registered and that, you know, we received like his form. So I can put like some message here and I can click on it and it's going to be for each person, hi Ali, hi Anna, hi Sophia, hi Arnaud, thank you for registering. And then here in welcome email, I will be able to make this same stuff, but this will be actually an email that I will receive. So now I can say here, hi person X or Y, you are welcome or welcome to our session, to our event, best. Okay. So you can click here on save, and you will have, and then the person can see the success registration message. And once the person is accepted, or the person pays, or in this case, right away, they will receive the welcome email, which also has the QR codes. While the success registration message does not have a QR code. Okay. So that's the difference between the messages, and that's how you set them up. All right, let's see how it went. So why and how to configure multiple attendee types and how to create an effective registration form, generate badges and messages. We have done that. And we have been 20 minutes here. So we actually, we are on time. Okay, so we have already done this part. And now we're going to check how to set up an event schedule with speakers and activities, how to design an attractive event website, and then the user part of how will the user see that. The user, I meaning the attendees that or your clients that will go to the event. So that's it for registration. Well, I'm going to give you another extra. Once you're done with all the setup of the first attendee type, you can copy it, you can click here on confirm, and you can set up the other one. So instead of undergraduate students, I'm going to say postgraduate students. And instead of 400, I'm going to leave 200, and I'm going to let the same configuration for everything else. So now I have to attend the types, undergrad and postgrad students. It's quite quick. Once you have done one, the next one is very, very quick, as long as it's similar. Okay, now let's get into the program. Okay, as for the program, we can create new speakers really, really quick. So here I can say, my name is, the name of the speaker is Mauricio. He's Palacio. He's actually our CEO. So Mauricio Palacio, the CEO of Eventtia. I'm going to put a headshot. I'm going to put his email, and I'm going to put a biography. So I can say Mauricio is the CEO of Eventtia. I can put his Twitter and LinkedIn accounts, and I can save, and that will create a speaker. When I save, voila, we have a speaker here. And then I can create another new one, and I can say, it's Esteban Ochoa. Actually, he's our CTO in Eventtia. So I'm going to put the headshot of Esteban, and I'm going to put his email, and I'm going to put a biography as well, such as Esteban is the CTO of Eventtia. So that's going to be it for creating the second speaker. And now in a few seconds, we just created two different speakers, and it's just the same process for everything else. And then those speakers can be, if you want, related to the activities or connected. So I can come here to program activities, and I can click on create a new activity, and I will be able to create the activity. So let's say that Maurice is going to deliver a conference on Eventtia. So we're going to say that he's going to do that between 9 a.m. on the 23rd of August until 10 a.m. So it's 1 hour. We're going to say that it's in the main hall. Sorry, in the main hall, because we have here 600 available seats, but I can also allow specific registration for this workshop. So I can leave it open just to be part of the general program, but I can also allow a specific registration for this workshop. Let's say that I only want undergraduate students to come here. I can also put an additional price, but I don't want postgraduate students. So I'm going to just select undergraduate students. Or I can select also postgraduate and ask the postgraduate students for $10, while undergraduate students is $0. Okay, so we can actually kind of divide the different attendee types in the registration for each and every one of the specific workshops. And then we'll be able to check those participants for that specific workshop on this module. And if you have check-in, you'll also be able to check them in by activity. So that's also quite interesting. And then as for the description, I will be able to put also a description of the activity. So I can say here, Mauricio is going to teach us about the process of establishing a born global startup. Okay. So we can put this description, and we can click on save, and we'll have a new activity. If I click back here in activities, I'll check it on. Here we can also put it inside a categories, and in this tab we'll be able to check which are the participants of that specific activity that have registered through Eventtia. And we can also do something quite useful, which is copy the activity. So I can click here and copy, and it's going to copy everything. So I just have to change some stuff. So I can say, instead of conference on Eventtia, I can say conference on Eventtia's software. Since the CTO is going to deliver the conference. So it's going to be Esteban, and let's say it's going to be in the afternoon. So it's going to be from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. So 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Then we're going to give the available seats. Let's say it's in the same place. Let's say we have a cost of $0 for undergrad students, but in this case it's $20 for postgrad students. And now I'm going to change the name. I'm going to say Esteban is going to teach you about the process of establishing the software design of a born global startup. And I can click on save. And see, by copying, I just save up some time. So now I have two different activities, one in the morning and one in the afternoon, that have two different speakers. So we have already created that. So let's get back to the presentation and see what's next. So we already set up the event schedule, and now we want to design an attractive event website. So let's go directly to that. So we come here to websites, and we'll be able to drag and drop the modules in the left to the right. And here's where I say that Eventtia is magic. And it's because after making this setup, which we had about 30 minutes to make it, well, actually a bit less, we are going to be able to actually just drag and drop, and we'll be able to see that reflected right away in a website. So website creation is quite quick. And also, by the way, we are going to launch a new website editor or composer in the next months. Probably in 2 or 3 months, we're going to start launching this with some beta clients. So you can be expecting also a better view of the websites and also more personalization of them. Okay, but for the moment it's very useful and it's quite easy. You just drag and drop all the modules that you want to put. So of course I want to put some speakers, the program, the register. I want to put a countdown, and I want to put a free module, and I also want to put a contact. And then once I drag and drop them, I can put like a specific order. So this free module is for the banner. Then I have home, then I would have speakers, then the program, then the countdown, then register, and then contact. And then we can add anything else here if we want. But for the moment, I think that just for the creation, that's quite good. I can also click on the free one to put my banner. So I just erase this. I don't want to show this block. And I can insert an image here. I could insert it here as background image, but sometimes if the image is not of a specific length, it's not going to be that well responsive, but I'm going to show you a little life hack here. So you can click here on image, upload, and you can upload the image right directly in the HTML. So I can put it here and send it to the server. And once I send it to the server, I can put some setup of the width and height. I recommend you to put a width of 1920 pixels, which is the best for responsiveness, so I can check it on a cell phone or on a normal computer. And it will automatically also adjust the height. So I can click here in OK. I can click here on Save. And voila, I will have my banner. And I can also select my color palettes. I can check here on my preview to see how it's going on. Okay, I like it or I don't like it. And then I'm going to show you step by step in a few seconds. And I can change, let's say, the color palette to this one because I prefer these colors. So I can click here on Save. And once I've done with everything, and if I want especially to check the register, I can click on Publish. Publishing doesn't mean being public, because you can, I mean, it means being public because when you publish, it's going to be on the web. But what you can do is just disallow the search engine indexing, meaning that if you search from Google or Bing, you will not be able to see this. However, when I'm done with it, like with the setup and when I'm actually launching the website, I can just allow it and publish, and that's it. So I'll have here the link, or also here in this world. And if I click here, I will be able to check my event. So see, it's actually really, really cool. I have my home speakers program content register contact buttons. I have my big register button here. I have my banner, and I can share by social media. So I have my banner, I have my home, where it says the academic event name. It says also the description of the event, like the academic event is here to prepare the students from the US to be better in their professional lives. It says the dates and place and the contact form. Then I can come down here and let's check the speakers. I'll have speakers. I will be able to open them up. I can send them an email because I set that up, and I'm going to see their description here with their headshots. I will also be able to see the program. So Thursday, August 23rd, I'll be able to see the times and the names of the activities, and I can open up the description. So this one is Conference of Eventtia. Maurice is going to teach us about the process of establishing a born global startup. A conference on Eventtia software where Esteban is going to teach us about the process of establishing the software design of a of a born global startup. Then I can check here the countdown. So we have 6 days, 21 hours for the event. I can see the registered with undergrad students and postgrad students, the price and so on. And I can see the contact where I will be able to contact the organizer if I have any issue, which is quite good. So if I click here and register now, or on top of the attendee types, I can say I'm an undergraduate student. And now we're going to get to the third part, which is going to be how the online registration works. So I'm going to show you right away how the online registration works, and you will be able to see what the attendee or your attendees will see. So as you saw, I set this up first, the university. So I'm going to say I'm from Harvard. I am Santiago. I am Castillo, my last name. My ID is, let's say, this ID. See, I cannot put more numbers because it's already 10 characters. I'm going to put my email. By the way, this is my email, santiago@eventtia.com. If you need anything, I can put here my telephone, and I can select my country. So I'm coming from the States, United States here. I'm coming, let's say, from New York as well. And let's search again for New York. I can put this stat, and this will also create me the state, country, and city tag. So you can say like, we're happy to have somebody from Harvard or from New York in your different communications. All right, so here I'm gonna select, I want to register to both of the conferences, which have a price of 0. And I'm gonna click next. And voila, I have my success registration message, which says, hello Santiago, your registration has been successful. And it says, hi, first name, thank you for registering, best. That's it. That one, remember that one was thank you for registering, and then the welcome email we put like welcome. So if I refresh my email, my Gmail, I will see that Webinars Eventtia just sent me an email which says, hello Santiago, your participation has been confirmed. So I can also check this and save it on my Google Calendar. I will be able to see my information. Hey Santiago, your participation has been confirmed. Welcome to our event. As you saw, this is different from the thank you for registering. So that's the difference between the two messages. I'll check my event details, and I will be able to check as well my QR code, my name, email, and my attendee type. So that's what the attendee will see, and then the attendee will be able to save this and say this is important, and they will be able to just have it there. So now they're registered. So that means that in 35 minutes, actually in 30, because the first 5 minutes were an introduction, we were able to create an event, registration, and a website. And we were able even to register as an attendee. All right. So that's very, very good. Now I invite you to start making your questions. You can make them through the chat. That would be quite good, or through the Q&A. I'm going to say hi again to the chat. Hi. You can make any questions that you have right now. And or also if you want to speak, you can just raise your hand and I will be able to allow you to talk. Okay. Okay. So while you're making your questions, I just want to give you a bit more of information. So if we come here to registration attendees, now you will be able to check here the different attendees that have registered. So as we just made the registration, I am here as one of the attendees. And if I click here on print, I will be able to print the badge, which will have university because we saved it like that. So as you have seen that we also have, like, if you have a very good setup, you will have very visual badges. But on this moment, it's a basic one because we just created it. However, it has the information it needs. It has my name, the QR code, and my university. All right. So that's it for the badge. And then if you click here, you'll see some options that are quite useful. First of all, the registration summary link for people to pay if they haven't. The welcome email link, so you can check the welcome email, or resend confirmation email, so if they didn't receive it for some reason, you can resend it. You can also download the participant profile, which is a PDF that I'm going to show you right now, where you will check the name, the type of attendee, the information, the ID, university. You'll check everything that he has, the selective activities. So that could be quite useful if you want to have a characterization of all of them. You can also check the registration form, um, so they can actually submit this, which is quite useful as well. You can print the badge, which I already showed you, and you can also delete the person. You can add manual payments here if they pay by cash or they pay by something outside of the payment platforms. And you can also check their sent messages. And by the way, speaking about messages, we have the communications modules where you can check the mass emails part, and you can send different mass emails either to guests, which will be in this module, or to participants, which are the ones that are here. So you will just need to select the attendee type. You can filter it by this stuff or not. So if you just want to send it to all undergrad students, you put nothing here. But you could also send it like to undergrad students who registered from X date to Y date and in this workshop, and they have paid or not paid. Like, you can really be specific here and send them also messages with the different tags, which is quite useful. So they can be really personalized messages like hi, first name, etc., etc. Okay, we have a question here from one of our attendees for this webinar, Arnaud. Merci, Arnaud. I assume that you're French. So Arnaud says, hi, in which format do you get the participant registration details? In Excel? Possibilities to extract, and on site, how do you check badges? Okay, Arnaud, I see that you have some different questions, and that's very good. That's the idea. Arnaud, I invite you to. So I'm going to. No, don't invite you. I'm going to answer you the different questions one by one. So, first question: in which format do you get the participants' registration details? Excel. And what are the possibilities to extract? That's a very good question, because many of you want actually to have some exports and some information for yourself and not have everything all the time here in Eventtia, because you might go to somewhere that where you don't have Wi-Fi access, or you want to save it for future events or whatever. So it's quite easy. If you come here to, I'm going to start from the dashboard so it's really clear. So if I click here in registration and I click in attendees, I will be able to check my attendees on the system. And if I come here to export to Excel and I click it, I will be able to create an Excel file. For instance, here the system is generating a file. It could take like some minutes if there's a lot. In this case, there was only one, so it was very quick, but it could take some seconds, some 30 seconds to 1 minute to download. I can click there to download the file, and I will be able to open up my Excel file, which I'm going to show you right now. It's going to open. So now I'm showing you the desktop. Let me see when it's going to open. All right. Let's wait for it. I can close this while it starts opening. and that will export all the attendees. However, if you only want to export some certain information, what you can do, for instance, is let's say you select by attendee type. So you want to export only the undergrad students. You can click here on undergrad students and click on search and export that to Excel, and that will only export the undergraduate students. And then if you want to come back to everybody else, you can reset. So that's quite good. So I'm gonna show this right away to you. Now we have the export here. Um, so here I'll be able to check the attendee type, university, see, and it's in the same exact order that I had. So it's an undergraduate student. I can know this. It's Santiago Castillo. I can check the ID of the person. I can check the email, the telephone, country, region, city, and the payment data. In this count, it's zero because I haven't paid anything. So it's 0000 for the balance, total, and so on. I can check the created ads, the updated, if it has a group. I can check the QR code, which is this one. And I can also check a QR code link. So if I open this link app, I will be able to see the QR code of the person. So for instance, I copy this and I come back here to I can click here and check the QR code of the person, which is also quite useful. In case you're using some QR codes. See, now I can upload this image. See, so this is my QR code for Santiago Castillo. I hope you're seeing it. Yeah. Okay, so that's it for the export, data export. As you see, this has all the information, and it has even some folders where you can check the undergrad and postgraduate students. So that's very, very, very useful. And that's the way you export the attendees. But there's another export that I would like to show you. If you want the export by activities, you can come here to program activities, and you can select on edit the activity. And if you click here in participants, you will see the participants of that specific activity. So I actually registered for this activity, but I could haven't. So maybe I have an event of 600 people, but only 20 go to an activity. So instead of exporting the whole Excel spreadsheet, I can export which ones go for the conference and event. So I can check it here on participants. And if I click here on export to Excel, it will create my file and it will export all the information of this specific activity of all the participants for that specific activity. So first, I'm gonna show you. So first is attendees, which you export here. Second type of export is program activities, which you click on edit on participants, and you can click on export and export the people of that specific activity. Whereas in attendees, you can export everybody, but in attendees, you not only have the filter of workshops, but you have some more filters that you can use to search and also export and have that specific. So for instance, you can export, let's say, only the people who haven't paid, and you search here and export it, and you will have that. So those are two of the ways to do it. And third, you have the reports, and in the reports you can actually get some other information to export. You can, for instance, export the attendees matrix, which basically, instead of exporting one by one workshop, it exports the people and the workshops they're going to. So I have, let's say Santiago is going to both, but Arnaud is going to one and Sophie is going to the other one. So I can be able to check which is going to which, like in a different setup. And if you click on reports and click on attendee payments, you will be able to export the payments here on export to Excel. So you have four types of exports: the attendees matrix of the program, the registration attendee payments, the participants per activity on the program, and then all the exports that you can do on the attendees module. So you can actually export quite a lot of information. And the idea is that you will be able to search to have those databases and to have all the information there. Even though if you open up an account, you'll have always access to that. but I understand how it's always good to have the own info, and maybe you need it for some reports and so on, or you want to make some filterings in Excel and use the tools that Excel offers. So I understand how it could be very, very useful to have the different exports. So that's it, Arnaud, for the exports. And now I want to answer you the part of the how do you check on-site the badges. All right, so first of all, you already saw how we print the badges. I can click here and print. That will upload a badge, and I will be able to see the badge here. Santiago, the QR code, and Harvard. So that's how I print it. I can also print out the badges with this button. And then the people, let's say on that day, they come. And what we have for that through the QR codes is our check-in app. Our check-in app has an extra cost, but you can always ask me for that at santiago@eventtia.com, and I can help you out with activating that and with creating the invoice for the check-in. And of course, I'm going to show it to you because that's the best way that we have to have on-site check-in without the need of anyone from Eventtia actually helping you, but with all the platform and software solutions. So if you come here to check-in, we'll have to activate for you if you buy it, but of course we'll do it. So if you come here, you can click here and manage the check-in status of your attendees. And you will be able to open a check-in progressive app, which means that I can have it on my cell phone. For instance, I have it here. So it says here TT check-in, Eventtia check-in, and I can open it from my cell phone. But I can also open it here on my computer, which is quite useful as well, because you might have some people that are using the cell phone, but maybe you also want to put some people with a computer that will be able to check the name real quick. Uh, so this is useful for both cell phones and mobile phones. Sorry, for both mobile or cell phones and computers. So here you're basically going to access your account, your normal Eventtia account. So it will ask you a login, but it's going to be the same login that you use to enter Eventtia. And here you will be able to check every of your events, every one. In this case, we are on academic event 5, so I'm going to open that one. And then here you have 4 tabs: my attendees, check-in status, checkpoints, activities. So my attendees is where you will be able to check your attendees and check them in. So you can do it through 2 ways. Either, and this is also for the cell phone, either you click on the cell phone or the computer camera here, and you open it up and you read the QR codes. You can also upload a QR code from the computer. So you can read it right away on the camera or upload it from the computer. And it will read the QR code instantaneously, and it's going to check in the person. So I'm just going to take my cell phone and check the badge here, and I'm going to read it, and that's it. The person will be checked in. So that's quite quick. And then with regards to the computer, you can also check the name. So you can search for Santiago, and it's going to say here, Santiago. You can search for Ben. Okay, there's no Ben's here, see? So you can search for the actual person that's coming and saying, you know, what's your name? My name is Arnaud. And I check here Arnaud. And if he's there, I can check in right away just by clicking here on the check. So now I'm going to check Santiago. But that's it. He's already checked in. I only had one step. So when I come here to check in status, I will be able to check how many people have been checked in and what percentage of the total people that are registered to event have been in. So if I have 100 participants and only 50 have been checked in, it's going to say here 50 and 50%. And I can synchronize this, although it's going to normally synchronize automatically. But if it's taking a time, I can just say sync now, and they they can synchronize it. And if I want to check out somebody, I mean, he's checked in, but let's say if it was a mistake, I can just click on the minus, and if I come here now, I'll see that 100% of people have not checked in yet. We also have the checkpoints, which you can create here in this module that's called checkpoints. You can just say new and create a new checkpoint, which can be a unique or multiple checkpoints, and you can make the description. And the checkpoints are They're not like the activities, because activities are the ones where you already have some pre-registration of some people, but the checkpoints could be like a coffee, like a coffee shop, or they could be a restaurant, or they could be the bathroom, or whatever you want on site. So if you want to say, I really want to know how many people have crossed the bridge from building A to building B, you can have somebody checking in people on the checkpoint. Like here, you'll click on the checkpoint and checking people on those checkpoints. So you can say that that the person crossed the checkpoints or didn't cross the checkpoints. Okay. So that's it for the checkpoints. And then regarding the activities, of course, this one will be on the rooms where it is done, but it could also be done. For instance, we have some events that use buses. So the buses go to, let's say, it goes from one place to another in the city, and some people paid for those buses, so you can actually check them in with the cell phone before entering the bus on the activities, because they will be registered there. So if you, for instance, somebody who hasn't paid went there and I tried to check him in the activity, it will say there's no one with this registration, or this QR code is not registered. So you will know that the person doesn't have the right to, go to the bus or something, or to the conference. So here in activities, you just check here and you see who's registered. So of course I was registered in the conference on Eventtia, but as you can see here, for instance, I can be registered in the general check-in, but if I come here and I haven't entered the conference on Eventtia, then even though I'm registered and I'm in the event, I'm not yet on that specific activity. So that's how it's linked to activities. So I can also register him. So in this case, let's say Santiago went to this activity, conference on Eventia, but in the end, he didn't come to conference on Eventtia software. So I will be able to check who came and who didn't. And the check-in side as well, that's for the general people. That's for all the people who come to the event. So if you have events of more than 100 to 200 people, this is very, very useful. And you just need to have a username and password that um, all the people that have the cell phones or the computer will be able to put in, and they will be able to, of course, access to this checking app and to use it to check in the people. So that's how you do the on-site check-in with badges. That's a very, very good question, Arno. Since well, this is one of our most interesting modules, because it is the module made for the on-site without us needing to be on the on-site. Okay. Okay. Let me see if you have any other questions. I would like to know if I answered all the questions, or if you have any further questions that you made. And let's see if we have some other attendees asking more questions. Okay, on this moment we don't, so I'll just make some end polls, and if there's any new question or any new remark, you can ask me. So I'm going to launch a new poll. And it says, in your opinion, what is the percentage of time that an EMS can save you? I will answer this question after the poll. You can vote right now. I'll give you some seconds for that. Do you think it's 10%, 20, 30, 40, or 50%? That means like if you didn't have an event management software, how much time would you have to use more than if you had one? I'm going to end this polling. So I have here most people say between 40 and 50, some 40, some 50, a few on 30. And actually most of you are have the reason, because it's around 40 to 50% of time that you could save, especially through the spreadsheets and so on that you have to do in events. I actually was myself an organizer of events, and I had to make several spreadsheets, and now using Event is quite good. Okay, new question. How would you rate this webinar? Awesome, great, okay, not good, or awful. And if you have any specific comments, we will be able to receive them at webinars@eventia.com or at santiago@eventia.com, and I would be very happy to hear what you want, or what you think we could do better. Of course, I'm not going to say the percentages, but thank you for your evaluation. And finally, I would like to know if you would recommend this webinar to a colleague. Yes, no, or maybe. It's time to vote. This is our last poll. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you guys. Most of you said that yes, and I highly recommend you to actually recommend these webinars to colleagues because that's quite good, quite interesting. Okay, and now finally, I'm going to just do here something real quick. You're gonna watch my Google Drive, but don't be scared about it, because I want to show you through the chat uh, our best thing that's going to come. So we're launching our webinars website, but for the moment, I'm just going to show you this link of the registration page. By the way, these are our next events. So we have our next webinar in French on September the 6th. Well, our next one is going to be in Spanish, then we'll have another in English in 2 weeks. And then in September, we're going to have French, English, Spanish, English. And we're going to have this big surprise. On September 26th at 10 a.m., we're going to launch our first How to Create a B2B Networking session, which you can register on this link that I'm going to send you in the chat. I expect you to actually copy that because you're going to lose the information from this chat. But I just explain you how to do it, do an event, how to create an event in 30 minutes on the actual platform, like on Eventtia, on what you're going to use day to day. But if you actually make B2B events, you should register to this, because in this webinar, I will be able to explain you all about the specific part of creation of networking events. So that's one important thing you should know. Second thing, we have a help desk here. And in this webinar, we have also, I believe, some French speakers. So we also have a help desk in French, which is here. So basically here, but I'm going to go back to English. And I'm going to open this up, help desk. So basically here you can search by keywords if you have any questions. So you can say like app, and you will be able to check how the app works or something like this. Um, and you will be able to check here the many different articles that we have. We have a gross knowledge base where you can check a lot of stuff that you can do with Eventtia, many explanations. This webinar, I'm going to upload this here on this webinar section. And I highly recommend you to open this introduction to Eventtia, how to create your first event, where you have the same tutorial, but just in 30 minutes without the interactiveness. And you have this PDF, which you can open, and it explains you step by step how to create the events. So this is a very good complement for your events and for your creation of the events. And actually, I'm going to send you the link to come here to this knowledge base on our follow-up attendees and absentees email that I'm going to send to you tomorrow. So it's going to get tomorrow morning, around tomorrow 10 a.m. You'll receive an email saying thank you for coming, and you can check these links with the links of the knowledge base, and of course the link of how to plan your first event with Eventtia. However, if you don't really get it, or if you want to check it for today before tomorrow, you can come here to our knowledge base introduction to Eventtia. And finally, if you have any support questions, I'm going to write this as well on the chat. We have our email help@eventtia.com. You can write there in English, Spanish, or French, which are languages, any questions that you have or any support that you need. And if you need any commercial staff on your clients, you can ask to me, or you can also write to help, and I'll redirect it to the person that's in charge. So that's it for today. Thank you very much. I hope to see you later. Thank you for all your questions. They were really, really good. And I hope to see you later in some new webinars of how to create an event in 30 minutes. And of course, in our webinars of how to create a networking B2B session, that also lasts 1 hour. Thank you very much. Merci. And I'll see you later. Bye-bye.